On 24th February 2022, the Russian Federation launched a special military operation in Ukraine. Russia's military attack on Ukraine after the country demonstrated its willing to join NATO and the European Union is an attack on democracy and an attempt to re-establish the supremacy of the Russian Empire in the world. War in Ukraine is caused by political reasons besides ideological ones. After the fall of the Berlin Wall, the reunification of Germany, the collapse of the Soviet Union, the end of the Cold War, and the dissolution of the Warsaw Pact, NATO, a security alliance established to defend member countries from the Soviet Union, lost its raison d'être. However, the Atlantic Alliance was not dissolved, but it extended its borders to the east as former Soviet republics asked to join NATO, which soon became a threat in the eyes of the Kremlin. While the Atlantic Alliance expanded and intervened militarily in areas without the consensus of the United Nations, revolutionary uprisings against pro-Russia governments sparked in the former Soviet states, such as the Orange Revolution in Ukraine in 2004. The Euromaidan, the annexation of Crimea, and the declaration of the independent republics of Lugansk and Donetsk was sparked by the Russian Federation that did not want to lose its power on Ukraine.
Президент Янукович підписав контракт з Росією, тим самим ще більше віддаливши Україну від вступу до Європейського Союзу.
Since 2014, a bloody war has been fought in the Donbas region, which has caused more than 14,000 deaths. Although Putin thought it could fight a blitzkrieg and achieve its goals in just 52 hours, the war in Ukraine could go on for a very long time, becoming a war of attrition. While Ukraine is largely supported by NATO and the European Union, Russia is also backed by states such as Belarus, Syria, and North Korea. Moreover, there are states that have always abstained in UN resolutions against Russia, such as China and India, which together account for more than a third of the world's population. Although states are in conflict with each other, diplomacy and communication have never stopped. In order to facilitate diplomatic communication, interpreters have a significant responsibility, and they have become more and more important with the increasing of diplomatic relations and diplomatic encounters, such as those that take place between heads of state. From the Paris Conference in 1919 to the Nuremberg trials in 1945, up to the present day, interpreters have worked next to diplomats and heads of state, facilitating the communication and sometimes becoming trusty advisors. Besides high levels of fluency in foreign languages, interpreters should have a good general knowledge. Moreover, they should prepare themselves in advance for the meeting, not only to study the topics that will be addressed, but also to draw up a glossary containing the technical sector vocabulary and the relevant symbols that will be useful when taking notes. Should interpreters have to work in consecutive? When it is possible, it would be helpful to study the way the speaker talks, namely his or her accent and style of communication. Interpreters have to look for the most technical and appropriate vocabulary so that the communication can be the most effective and useful for the purposes of the diplomatic encounter. Even if traditionally interpreters are described as simple language mediators, one should not undervalue them because sometimes they are the only participants in the meeting, besides the anticipated authorities.
Amazing how you're able to quite literally do it simultaneously. It's a remarkable skill, and I can tell you we can't do our diplomacy without it.